And we welcome you back into Dodger Poke Report Player Spotlight. Tonight we have a very, very, very special guest coming in with us in Dodger Poke Report. And I wanted to say, before we get started, this one is very, very personal to me. Max Hewitt, as you see on the, well, let me get Max over to right there. Max Hewitt on the screen is our guest tonight on Dodger Poke Report. And this is very personal for me because Max Hewitt played his 4 years of college baseball at Oklahoma State University. Oklahoma State is a place that is very dear to me. I'm a huge Oklahoma State baseball fan, and I had the pleasure of getting to watch Max play 4 years there, and I can tell all Dodgers fans out there that are now just learning the name and who Max Hewitt is, of all of the players that I have seen come through Oklahoma State baseball, and that has been since 1973, so all of the guys that played the 1980s, from Robin Ventura to Pete Incaviglia, I can honestly say this, that I have never had more respect for a Oklahoma State baseball player that put on that Oklahoma State baseball uniform than I have for one Mr. Max Hewitt that has been gracious enough to join us tonight. So, Max, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Congratulations on a wonderful college career and then the beginning of your Dodgers career.
Thank you so much, and thanks for those kind words. You know, that means a lot, especially coming from an alum, so thanks again.
Well, let's back all the way up, and for those of you who don't know Max Hewitt, which I'm sure a lot of Dodgers fans don't, he just got his career started. He just graduated from OSU last year. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, because this is an amazing story as we wind through this. Max is from Canada, which, you know, a lot of people would say not exactly a hotbed of baseball talent, but Max played for a travel ball club called the Ontario Blue Jays. The Ontario Blue Jays, 530 college placements, 120 draft picks or signings like Max, 75 Canadian national team players, 8 major leaguers. So, Max, let's back it all the way up. Let's talk about your youth days playing with the Ontario Blue Jays, and let's talk about those days for you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great program for me, but a lot of people wouldn't know that so my first year with Ontario Blue Jays, my freshman year of high school, I actually didn't make the team. I didn't make the Ontario Blue Jays the first time around. And so they're a pretty elite program, and you know, I'm pretty sure of my year, you know, 8 guys from that team went on to play professional baseball, which is pretty astounding number for, you know, a travel ball team. And yeah, but that organization was amazing to me. I went off and played for the Oakville Royals for 2 years, which was right down the road, and, you know, was able to come back and make the team, and improved a lot over the last couple of years of high school. And yeah, but you know, they're a great program and have created a lot of opportunities for a lot of people.
Well, they created an opportunity for you not only during your high school careers, but one thing you need to understand about Max Hewitt is the word no when it comes to the game of baseball is not something that he accepts coming out of high school, graduating from high school. No offers from anybody at all college-wise. And so I believe you had to go back to the Ontario Blue Jays and play for them for a summer. You toured around the United States, played different colleges. Tell us about that story.
Yeah, I mean, I got to the end of high school, and, you know, there's some interest from some schools, but nothing significant. And, yeah, no scholarship offer, and no situation that was going to work out. So we kind of decided, I forget exactly when we made the decision, but I sat down with my family and we decided that, you know, I was going to stay back, and that, you know, we were going to, you know, I believed that I was good enough. I knew I was good enough. And I also believed in my ability to, you know, improve and grow. And, you know, I was kind of a late bloomer. So I spent that year driving between Barrie and Toronto, working out, and I worked at Foot Locker. And I worked in a special needs classroom. And so it was just a really eye-opening year. You know, it was really humbling experience. And through that, you know, I did improve a lot just spending that extra year, you know, time for my body to grow and mature, but also just the fact that, that year really just reinstilled how bad I wanted to do it come hell or high water. And I think it was maybe November came around. We'd finished our fall trip, and Coach Foreman, Connor State, called me, and he didn't have to say what the offer was before I said yes at that point. And just felt so blessed and so honored to, have that opportunity, and kind of decided that I wanted to take full advantage of it.
A rumor has it is, as you toured the summer after your high school career, when you had no offers, that next fall you toured around playing different Division I baseball schools. I know you played OU. You played Connor State, which you ended up going to. And so when you went to Connor State, rumor is you played them a doubleheader, lost by about 1 million runs in that second game. And as you were putting your stuff up in your bag, you swore to God you would never go back to that place ever again. And then lo and behold, you end up being a Connor State Cowboy. Yeah,
I mean, that was they whooped our tail for it might have been 18 innings. It was a long day. It was. We got on the bus, and our bus driver's like, he'd done the trip a bunch of times. His name Billy Martin, great guy. And he'd said, you're a Connors guy. And I was like, whatever. I totally wrote off his comment and got on the bus, and off we went to the next school. And sure enough, it kind of came full circle, and I ended up there, and it was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Warner, Oklahoma is a dot on the road map, and I do mean that with the greatest of compliments to Perry Keith there at Connor State University, or Connor State College. It is a great baseball school. Perry Keith, I know, Coach Foreman were huge in your life. Talk about them and the impact they had on you.
Oh, I mean, I can't say enough good things about Perry and Bobby and Corey, the whole family, Sherry. I went in there, obviously having one opportunity, and I learned so much, and I tried to do things the right way, but Perry just kind of put his hand on my back, and, he coached me hard, but he also gave me a lot of support along the way. And, without him, I'm not sure I'd be where I'm at right now, but in terms of his formula for developing players and putting players in the right positions to succeed, and just, developing in baseball is a thing that just takes time. And Perry Keith is somebody who is willing to put in that time. And there's no, it's no new school, no old school, it's the right school, and it's putting in the time, it's putting in the reps. And, he's getting older, but he's still out there every single day hitting fungos. He's still out there. He doesn't shortchange those inner squads. When there's arms to throw, we're going to scrimmage, And so I probably got more at bats that first fall than, I'd probably had in the previous 3 seasons combined. And when you start having that many at bats and playing that many innings in the field, you start to find your rhythm. You start to develop an approach. You start to understand who am I as a player, and what's the best, how can I best help my team, and how can I be the most consistent? And, I started to really learn those things. I started to believe in myself a little bit, believe in my ability, and also had surrounded myself with some great teammates that, we pushed each other really hard in the weight room as well. So, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Perry, and he's one of those guys too. He's so loyal. He's a phone call away. And when it really came down to it, after my first year there, I'd planned on returning, and, he was willing to just put my best interests first and supported me through that too. And he just set me up for success for the rest of everything. So incredible man.
You hit .436 that year in JUCO for Perry Keith at Connor State University. You had a huge year for them. You had 67 RBIs in 60 games. And because of that, you had multiple Division I offers coming out of that first year of Connor State. I know Kentucky gave you an offer. And then obviously where you ended up, you continue to be a Cowboy. Oklahoma State University, Josh Holliday, Rob Walton, the crew there, fantastic coaches. Take us through the decision to end up being an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Yeah. I mean, it happened so fast. I was getting towards the end of summer ball, and, I had been planning on returning to Connor State, and, the phone calls started coming in, and people said such great things about Josh and about the program and the way they do things there. And so did Perry, honestly. And I trusted Perry's word. And, I just wanted to put myself in an environment that I thought was going to be the best place for me to grow as a person and a ball player. And, it absolutely was. It was the right fit for me. It definitely wasn't the easiest route for me, but it absolutely was the right place. And that's why, I'm sitting in Stillwater right now. So I'm so thankful. Oh, yes, I did. It was amazing. Yeah.
I giggle when you say it's not the easiest route, because I had a firsthand seat down the left field line of all of that, not the easiest route that you're talking about. And what you're talking about is, I think you played every position on the field, especially for your first 3 years of college. You played 19 games as shortstop in 2019 on a team that was literally 5 outs away from Omaha. You played a lot of third base. You played second base, and then eventually ended up being a catcher. So I had like I said, I had a firsthand seat to see all of that. And I'll tell you what, one thing that you did all the way through your career at Oklahoma State is you always hit, and you were always a leader. So take us through kind of all of the position changes once you got to Oklahoma State, and how difficult that was for you moving around all over the field, or if it was not difficult and just something that was actually just enjoyable for you.
Yeah, when I first got there, I'll be completely honest, I was pretty high on myself coming out of that first year. After all that, I felt like I'd been swimming upstream for some time and finally had some success. So, I knew I was going to work hard and do all the right things, but I walked into the door at Oklahoma State the first day, decided that, hey, I'm going to be the starting shortstop, and I'm probably going to win the frickin' Gold Spikes Award. And, people are going to know who I am. Well, it's funny how baseball works. It's either you're humble or you're about to be humbled. And not saying I was acting out or anything like that, but I was humbled very fast. I think I got 4 hits my first fall, just fired up, trying to do too much, trying to change the player I was. I remember the first day hitting in the cage beside, Colin Simpson and Carson McCusker, and they're hitting 450-foot bombs, and that's not what I do.
Yeah.
And so there was a good stretch there, well into even into the end of my sophomore season, before I started figuring out hey, if you want to do anything at this level, you have to play your game. You have to evolve as a baseball player, and you have to grow over time. But more than anything, you have to stay true to who you are, and you have to buy into how can I help this team. And so that first year was tough, and so was the summer after that. And I came into my junior year kind of with a different mindset, a growth mindset, a more humble mindset. And, I got to a place where, I didn't end up starting every game, but, I did everything I could for that team, and I was really happy about that. And it was such a special group to be that close to Omaha and not do it was kind of, really sad. And but I think more than we were sad we lost, that group was one of those groups that was so close that I think we were more sad that the season was over and we weren't going to be around each other, and that we knew that, guys had been drafted and were going off and we weren't going to be together as a team again. So that was the hard part about that. But yeah, I think the beginning of my junior year, I turned the page and kind of started moving forward and feeling good about what I could do at the Division I level.
You mentioned how, you guys were just more almost sad that you weren't going to get to play each other. Of course, you didn't know that you were going to get the year back with the 2020 COVID at that point, so you didn't know what the future was going to hold. But you saying that brings me kind of to my next topic here, and that is Coach Holliday, Josh Holliday, definitely creates that culture of wanting to play together almost as a family, just exactly what you described just a minute ago. So talk about the culture and the program there at Oklahoma State that Coach Holliday, Josh Holliday, has built.
Well, I think it just starts with who he recruits. I mean, he's bringing in guys that love the game, and you can't fake that. You can't fake, like, either you love it or you don't. Especially at the professional level, but even at the college level, like, this is a everyday grind. And if it's not what you love, then it's probably not for you. And Josh does a really good job of identifying who are people who are going to be a good fit in the clubhouse, not just very talented players, but I think about who are some of my favorite teammates in the past, and a lot of those guys are junior college guys who weren't initially highly recruited, over time, mixed in with some guys that, were extremely talented and were highly recruited, and, kind of have the, kind of the prestige and the tools and their prospects. So we kind of just always had a good mix of guys. And then Josh always just set the tone of what his expectations are and for us. And, he's a high energy guy, and he sets the tone every day. And it's awesome. It's an awesome place to play. So
Coach Holliday must have been very open-minded. I know that you played a lot of shortstop, second base. You were the utility guy. Then you turned into the super utility guy and actually started catching in 2020. So take us through how you ended up catching at Oklahoma State University.
Yeah, so, I mean, I played infield the whole way through high school, but, when I was growing up, like, as a kid, I caught for, my team. And throughout high school, we lived about 5 minutes away from, an independent ball team, and they had me out, and I'd catch pens for them, and I'd hit BP with them and stuff and hang out at the yard. So I was pretty comfortable, like, using my hands back there and receiving guys, that had good stuff. So I think it was one day at the end of my junior year, school had ended and somebody had a side session. I was just hanging out and there's no catchers around. So I was like, oh yeah, I got you. That was kind of the first time. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't think much of it. And then the next year, some moves happened, some things shuffled around, and, there's an opportunity there, and we needed a body back there. And, with Huey and Caden Polkovich up the middle, I saw that as an opportunity to jump on. And, I give a lot of credit to Rob Walton for going, pulling me aside and saying, like, hey, I think this is something you need to grab by the horns, and, this might be something that'd be a good fit for you. And, he pushed me and coached me through that, and so did Josh. And, I'm really thankful that they kind of took a leap of faith to give me a try back there with, not that many reps, honestly. And, I really only caught the end of fall ball that year. And, I mean, it's been great. I love it. I love the position. I think it, I feel like I'm a good infielder, but, I don't have the kind of 6'3" speed that some of the prospects have. But I can catch, and, I can be athletic back there. And it feels like a good fit. I love the challenge. I've loved learning how to call the game. So it's been awesome, and it's an ongoing process. So it's been great.
Are you familiar with the Austin Barnes story at all? How he became a catcher at Arizona State, similar to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The Dodgers have a lot of catchers like that. Will Smith as well has an infield background, and I love watching those guys catch, guys that are athletic back there and can move around, receive the ball well, block the ball well, throw the ball well. That's kind of what the position demands these days. So, yeah, I love watching Austin Barnes catch.
2020, the year that got cut short by COVID, you guys got to play 18 games at Oklahoma State. You caught 10 of them. You know that you were the only Oklahoma State baseball player that hit 400 for an entire season since 2007 in that 2020 season. Did you know that, Max?
Yeah, somebody told me that. I mean, it was 18 games, but
it counts.
I was feeling it. I had a good little stretch there, and it was fun. So,
Wanted to apologize. We had a few technical difficulties with our internet connection, so our internet connection actually ended our Zoom meeting one question short of what we wanted to finish with Max. We actually spliced the last answer together too. So anyways, apologize for that, but wanted to end this thing with just letting you know that Max was undrafted out of Oklahoma State University. I had a chance to talk to him a couple of times after the draft, and I know he was very down about the fact that he didn't know exactly what his future was in the game of baseball. Very similar to after he graduated high school, to where he really didn't know what his next level of baseball was going to be, what his next path was going to be. All that he knew was that he just simply did not want to quit playing baseball. He at all costs wanted to continue to play this game and see how far he can make it. And then all of a sudden, one day, he got the great news as Heath Holliday, cousin of head coach Josh Holliday, and then assistant coach Matt Holliday. Heath was a local area scout for the Dodgers at the time. Heath came into the training facility of O'Brate Stadium one day and delivered the great news to Max Hewitt that his dream was once again alive, and that he was being picked up by the Dodgers, and that he was going to report to Arizona and continue his baseball career as a professional baseball player. And I'll let you take a look and see how emotional that scene was.